Alright, hey guys, we're back again with more of the Persona 1 Snow Queen quest. This is our second episode, and this one is going to be a little bit longer. I know the last episode I was talking about how these are pretty short episodes, but this one is 2.5 hours worth of recording. So this will be about an hour and 15 minutes, hour 10, somewhere around there, maybe actually closer to an hour 20. Worth of recording because we're at 2x speed. And in this episode we're just going to be doing a lot of the stuff that leads into the Snow Queen quest, and then I think we do the first dungeon even. So what's going on here is we need to talk to certain characters around the school who are going to teach us about what happens with the Snow Queen and like that whole legend. And then eventually it will just open up. Or eventually we'll find the mask. And because, you know, we're nosy little bitches, we're gonna pick it up. So the mask is in there. We can't do anything with that yet, because we have to keep learning. So this is where you learn a lot about how, like, in the past they used to run the Snow Queen every year, which is a play. And it's come back this year for some reason, despite there being a rumor that when they used to run it every year, the lead who played the Snow Queen would always inevitably die. So that is something that is, interesting in the lore. And the last person who played the Snow Queen, or who had the lead, was our Homer's teacher, Miss Saiki. However, she's obviously alive, so she survived, which makes her very unique. And it's ultimately the reason why we have to deal with this stuff. But over the course of this, we're going to meet a lot of characters. And if you remember this high school vice principal, Mr. Hanya, because eventually we're going to run Persona 2, and he's back, and he's an asshole. Alright, and there it is. So the Snow Queen mask has revealed itself. And now we're in the trouble, because now we're going to walk out here. We're going to see Mark and Maki leave. And if you remember in the Seebeck quest, the main character, Nate, and Maki leave, because Mark is in jail. And then Miss Saiko, the teacher, sees the mask and she's like, oh shit, well I guess I need to tell you guys about that, don't I? This is where we learn about the story of the Snow Queen quest, or the Snow Queen. So there was two kids who were in love with each other, and then the boy suddenly started losing his eyesight. So he went to look for a cure on his own, and he ran into the Snow Queen, who said she would cure him. Instead, she froze him, and his little lover girl went on a mission to find him instead. And she eventually finds him, and through the determination and her love, she's able to find him in the Snow Queen's castle, but he's been frozen. In an attempt to show us that this legend about them dying is fake, she puts the mask on, and it doesn't come off. So now the Snow Queen is going to actually be talking because it's a possessed mask. So now the new possessed person is going to be taking over, but she's going to give us the opportunity to save the school, save our friends, and save our teacher if we're able to conquer these 3 palaces. Which is ultimately the main point of this quest. Is having everybody's gonna get frozen. She just freezes Saiko's body just to leave it there, so that you don't forget what you're in this for. And now we have another short cutscene with Philemon. Because this is at 2 times speed, I can't really show this very well. But what he explains is that this school has been taken over by a malevolent spirit, and that we should be the ones who deal with this. In order to do so, we have this mirror. And this is the mirror from the Legend of the Snow Queen. And in order to beat the Snow Queen, we need to find mirror shards, which we'll put into here until eventually we can form a mostly complete or fully complete mirror. This is the other main thing about the Snow Queen quest. You need to find mirror shards. You get them for finishing the dungeons, but you also get them for doing certain other things as throughout the quest. There's a total of 12 shards. You need 8 in order to get the good ending. And if you're able to get all 12, you get some extra gear. So in this run, we do get all 12. Where I am in the run already, that's been recorded, I think I already have all 12. Or I have 11 of the 12, because I just need to finish the 3rd dungeon, and then I have all of them. And now we're gonna run around and just explore. So on the map, any of the rooms that have that weird little symbol that looks like a door, and if you go into them and you see the door, these are the dungeons. There's 3 of them, or there's 4 of them because there's the extra dungeon as well. Well, we also need to fill out our party because right now we only have Pump, Yukino, and ISA, but ISA doesn't have a persona. So the party members available to us will be ISA, who is mandatory. Kind of. You have a chance to, I think you have a chance to say no to her when she awakens. Ellie, Brown, and Nanjo. In case you didn't want all 3 of the other 3, then you can choose Nanjo. So we're gonna let Ellie help. Of course, I used the 3 party members that I didn't have in my Seabeck route because I didn't have them in my Seabeck route. Why that's gonna be good is because Ellie's fucking broken in this run. Now, I feel bad for this character. This guy is Toro. He's fat. He likes to eat. And everybody makes fun of him for being fat. But even more so, he has a huge crush on ISA. And he asked her out. And it didn't go well for him. So, he's kind of an asshole. But he awakens to a persona. And he's not really a boss. He just, like... You have this little scene where he serves as the purpose of awakening Brown and Ellie. And when he explains it, of course Yuka sounds like, or ISA, I call her ISA. I think it's her first name. Yeah. ISA looks like a fucking asshole, because she's super shallow. Which is, you know, fine, in air quotes. This is when he asks her out. He works really hard for it, and she just hits him. It's pretty not okay. And she pieces out. She says he wears the same clothes every day, but in his defense, they wear a school uniform. Of course they wear the same clothes every day. So that's a little fucked up, but Yeah, so this just is here to awaken Brown and ISA with his penis monster. But he's gonna stick around, and he's a cool dude, and he's gonna have it rough during this run. So now we have the option to bring Brown along, which we're gonna do, of course, because we need to fill the party. He's giving us the peace sign, and he's totally a bitch. I like Hidehiko a lot because I think he's just a funny character, and like in this run especially, he does and says a lot of funny fucking shit. So now we're gonna just keep exploring. There's a lot of shops here. All the shops you would find in the regular game in the malls are all present, as well as a casino, a velvet room, I think it's just the nurse's office in the main floor instead of a Trish's Spring. The weapon shop, the gun shop, the armor shop, the special shop, and a regular item shop. And this is really important because this acts as a hub. We never leave the school unless we're in the dungeons. Sorry about that, I was finishing a bowl of soup. And then there's just some extra rooms with just characters. You can meet a lot of these characters, and some of them you'll run into in the dungeons. They'll be dealing with some shit in the dungeons. So, now with before we get started with the cards that I was able to get while I was running from the hospital, I'm just going to fuse a few personas. Because once you enter a dungeon, you can't leave. And all 3 dungeons have velvet rooms in them, but it's better to just get started like this. Make sure I have the options available. So this is going to be our first dungeon. This is the Hypnos Tower. So it's called. The boss is definitely called Hypnos. A big theme here is going to be sleeping. Or Hypnos Tower. I was close. Is Hypnos the boss here, or is it Hypnos? Oh fuck, I don't even remember. So either way, we'll just be making our way on through. The butterfly will just give you the same little warning that once you go in, you can't leave. And something the game doesn't tell you is that you have 3 hours to explore. If you fail to finish the tower within 3 hours, then it's an automatic game over. However, it only counts time when you're on the map screen. Time in battles and time on the menu and time in the rooms does not count. So it is more than enough time. It is always enough time no matter what, but it can be a bit of a time constraint, especially in one of the later ones where you have to do a lot more back and forth. And so the enemies represented in this first dungeon are going to be the ones we would find in the CVEC building, as well as in the prison, the CVEC building, and the very early parts of the school. So I'm actually going to cut this recording short, probably around 25 minutes, just so that it stays a little bit more in line with my last recording, but also because I have some stuff to do. So I won't be able to record this one straight. But it will give me the advantage of being able to do these a little bit more, like, progressively. But something that is going to happen at the beginning of all of these dungeons is that encounters are going to start off taking a while, because we are going to be underleveled at all times. But to counter this, a lot of the bosses I think are all a little bit easier than they probably should be. But that doesn't do anything for us, because getting these bosses is a gigantic pain in the ass. I think Snow Queen Quest is pretty hard, in hindsight. What I've done of it, I think it's a bit harder than most of the CVEC quests. It's not as it's not very annoying. The dungeon design is actually pretty straightforward, and there's no like pitfalls and like sliding through doors and shit. Like, it's pretty straight paths with just like a bunch of turns, like regular maze-like design. But the enemy encounters and some of the dungeon stuff, like the room stuff, is hard. So let me see when will be a good stopping point. I think maybe after this encounter. This is a pretty fast encounter, and a lot of these enemies are outside of the talking range. What I do before I get to the Hypnos Tower, which is the third dungeon, is I just don't really talk to enemies unless I want their cards. But okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cut it right here, and we'll see you guys next time.